Well, hi guys. Today is Monday, June the 15th, and I've been working on the combine. I discovered a spring laying here, and the spring that goes here broke. And I wasn't about to go to John Deere after one, so I did what I always do. I was going to make another loop on the end of it, but after I got a better look at the spring, I decided against that because it was kind of rusty and crusty. So I went to my local hardware store and bought the spring you see here, the 5/16 eye bolt, and a chain connector for down there, which you probably can't see. It's one of these, like that. Put through that, had to take the pulley off, put the repair link in, put the spring on, squeeze it together, put it up, and then get it started up here, then get the pulley put on, and then the belt. But she's good and tight now. A lot tighter than I think a factory one is. Just got done with that. I've been topside, opening the louvers up on the front and the top, cleaning that screen out. And they were nasty as can be. Blew the radiator out one more time, reinstalled the fan, and discovered there was a hole down here. About 6 inches long, 3 inches wide. There's supposed to be a plate there and it was missing. So I took some particle board, soaked it in oil, drilled a hole through it, and installed it. That'll make it draw more air through the screens instead of it sucking up from just behind the fan. So it'll make it draw more air now with that plug put in place. I've got it's kind of a job taking those screens, getting into those screens, but they are clean now. Radiator's cleaned out, those are cleaned out. So theoretically, it should run cooler now. The oil's changed. Filter and oil are changed. I've gone over the points condenser. Basically give it a good going over on the ignition system. And other than setting everything for wheat and putting all the guards back in place, like that one, well, that one goes right there, it's pretty much machine wise ready to go, other than, like I say, setting it. All the chains have been oiled. Every grease zerk I can find has been greased. The chopper knives seem to be in very good working order. There. No. Kind of thought there might have been one on that. The only one that ain't been oiled is this adjuster chain. You can't really move it much. And I'll blow that out right there, both sides, before I try to move it. Belts are halfway decent, not perfect. She has full tank of fuel now. Chopper's on, ready to go. Still don't know about those, why they're on it. I don't think they need to be there, but there may be a reason. When I start cutting weed, I'll have to watch that I don't get up into the extension, because it'll come right through that. So that's not really that big of a deal. Need to clean the windows, just before I decide to start cutting. Check my book to make sure, like, that chain down there is on the right sprocket. A lot of little things like that, but shouldn't take too awful much to really get her going. So yes, the building is rather packed up. I've waited over a year and a half, a year and 3 months, to try this combine out for the first time. The only thing I know it needs is hydraulic oil put in it, because of the cylinders that were under, one of them was leaking pretty good. So I know it's going to need hydraulic oil, which is not really that big of a deal. Spring assist has been changed. It's laying underneath. New cylinders are on it. I know it's been greased and oiled. I did that a year ago, and it's not done anything, so should be good to go. I have to check the air and the tires, of course, as always you do, and then it's hook the head up and start changing the settings. And to be honest, I have never run a 213 flex head or had a combine that had working the reel speed. So that's going to be a little interesting to get used to, but we'll do it. It's been over 13, 15 years, probably 15 years since I ran a 4400. And I've never run one of these in wheat, so I got a bit of a learning curve to get over. But as far as I can tell, everything machine-wise should be ready to go. Engine's good to go. Transmission final drives have had oil put in them. They're full. It's been everything greased. All the chains oiled. So it's pretty much down to, making the final few adjustments. And like I say, put the head on, hook it all up, and start adjusting. Like I say, I've never used one of these to cut wheat before. And it's been 30 years probably since I had grown any wheat. So, got a few things to figure out. Also got to take both the outside ones off and straighten them up. They're both bent, and I want those straightened up to where it spreads straw right. But, like I say, I think she's ready to go. So, we're going to call it a day. I've been waiting all day for the spray guy to show up to spray burn down across the road. I'm going to have that no-tilled. It's kind of in a... I'm not the biggest fan of no-till. It has its place. But in this soil, if it's moist, got moisture in it, forget it. But that ground is good, dry, and hard. So the no-till drill will work, or planter will work just fine in it. It's kind of in that, find that happy medium. The wheat is drying down. There's places that it's still kind of milky, but there are other places that they're drying. So I don't figure it's much more than a week or two, and I'll be running this and enjoying it. Notice something here crazy. Only spots like this where something has been rooting around. I don't know what it is. There's one there, all under the tractor. I really don't know what's rooting. There and all under here. Almost like a hog rooting, but I don't know of any feral hogs running around this part of the country. But that don't mean there ain't one. So I guess we're going to call it a day here, guys. Long is, I don't know what to think of it. Other day it was slobbering oil up out of the dipstick. It reads full. So I don't know if I put too much oil in it, or because I checked it and it was low, so I added oil till it said full. Did I get too much in it? I don't know. The 1850, that's a bit of a puzzle. The shaft here, before you could get a hold of the shaft and you could move it. It had slop in it, and it had end play that you can move. You can't move it by hand, but if you put a pair of pliers on it, you can move it that much, which is a significant amount. And the end play, I can't move it. Yeah, there it did. It's got end play in it, but it's really, really, really tight, and it makes me think something's come loose in here. I know the bushings are bad in it, but the other day I put the vice grip or the channel locks on it to move it, and it just barely moved up and down, and it got just a little bit of movement, and then I felt it go crunch. But you could get a hold of this before and turn it, and you can't do it now, so it's really tight. And judging by all this oil stain around it, it's leaking. So something's going on there. I'm not going to say it's not in the pump. It could have an issue, but I think there's a lot going on right there in that shaft and worm gear and drive gear. And the only way to really tell what's going on is to literally pull it apart. I don't want to do that, but that may be what has to happen. I mean, draining the radiator, taking this off, unhook the excuse me, tack drive, take this cover off, loosen that gear, loosen the gear up, pull the gear out, and then pull this shaft and pull the injector pump up. Excuse me. That's about the only thing I can see to do to it. Whole fuel system's been gone through, and I know everything to right here is good. It's right. It's got 6 new injectors in it, so I know they're right, set. But the one thing I do not know anything about is this pump and this gear set shaft. So that's what I'm looking at on this, and I don't really want to run it until I can tear it apart and see what's going on. I hate that. I really do. I really hate that, but it's what I got to do. First time I can ever remember having 2 tractors go down with screwy engine problems. The 1850, it just, I really don't know what it is, and that I don't really know either, but I'm going to do some checking on it tomorrow. Supposed to have a chance of rain this evening. The weather is coming out of the southeast, which is highly unusual for us, but it is what it is. So guys, I'm going to call it a day. So we'll see you next time. And as always, please comment, rate, and subscribe. And ring that bell and hit that like button. That right there is the best tractor I've ever owned. Hands down, bar none. It's the best. We'll see you next time, guys.